Yeah, we just move on. It's just another little hurdle. We got to take on life and take it on the chin and just move on with things. You can't let things bother you. You just got to shake it off and, as the saying goes, dust yourself off and carry on. And that's what we do.
Good man. There's only one place to start, Peter. How good was Savannah on Saturday? And what's it been like since?
Well, there's been hundreds and hundreds of, praises for Savannah, how well she done. And, it's quite clear. It took people by shock just how good she was. And, it's very nice to see, I'm very proud of what Savannah done. She stepped up to the plate. She didn't let the occasion overcome her. She done everything that was asked of her and more. So, for somebody like me, I'm very, very happy, and it was a faultless performance. Look, faultless performance in regards to she put on a good display. She kept a good, sensible head on her. She didn't go out of her zone. She kept to the plans, what we said, and she just went about it. And she just dissected it round by round. You couldn't ask for anything better. So, especially for a world title as well, it was a lovely experience. It's there's no words. I'm so happy for Savannah.
A lot of people said it was a typical Fury fighter performance, Peter. Would you agree with that?
Look, what I can say is this. I'm a man that I am somebody that teaches boxing. It's not about it in the pads. It's not about it in the bag. It's about how you come across. You make people to miss. You make them pay. You offset people and everything else. Boxing is an art, and and that's what my job is. So call it a style, but it's a boxing style. Look, it just goes to show. If it was all about working hard in the gym, anybody can believe in themselves, and that's a beautiful thing to have. That self-belief and that work ethic. But Hannah Rankin has a perfect work ethic. She believed in herself in that fight, and she trained very hard for that fight. And she's one tough girl as well. And, I'll give her maximum credit because she was better in this fight than what she was in the Shields fight. So she has come on, she has improved. But like I said, when you've got 10 irons in the fire and somebody's only got one, and you've got 10 gears and somebody's got one, then that's what you're seeing. So that's what I teach. That's what we do. That's what we work on tirelessly in the gym every single day. It's not about sweating your balls off and jumping a rope and doing all of that. It's about getting in the ring and understanding that knowledge you're trying to impart into the fighter. In the sparring, every time they come back to the corner, I need you to do this, work on this, on the pads. We're always grafting. So for Savannah, it's been 4 years of constantly moving, tweaking, doing this, doing that, practicing different things, and that's why I give her the maximum respect because, she's been all over the country. She's away from her family. She's in her house by herself. She comes to the gym. She does everything asked of her to do on a daily basis. Nothing's ever too much, and she's somebody that gets her head down, gets it done. And, she believes, what I've said. And what I've said, is right. I am an experienced man. So I told her everything what's unfolded here. I told her what would happen, even to the timeline, even to the amount of fights she's had, even how long it would take, So we've had that trust in each other. And, ultimately it's paid off. She's a fabulous talent. And I knew even at 2:30 in the daytime, I went on this podcast with Darren Barker on Fight Day.
Yeah.
And it's all for everybody to see. It's all over social media. And it was a Sky podcast. David A was talking about Chisora. And then they had Usyk's manager on. And then they had me on last. and they asked me about Savannah. Well, they asked me about the Chisora fight. Obviously, I said Usyk would win it. And I just said, you can't overlook natural talent with the Usyk. Yep. I said, that's he's a very talented fighter. But but Chisora impressed me as well. He put up the fight of his life. It's the best Chisora I've seen in that one. So, like I said, he's come out a win. Although he's dropped the point decision, he's come out a winner anyway. So it was a fabulous performance by him, and he needs maximum respect. But getting back to Savannah, they asked me how it would go, and I said, Savannah, I can see a stoppage mid to late rounds. And he said, oh, that's a big statement, because Anna Rankin's never been stopped. She's boxed at far superior level and everything else. I said, well, she's not been hit by Savannah Marshall. Yeah. And also, but that's the thing, but practicing it in the gym, I knew what she could do, and it was just a case of in that fight week, it's just getting over to Savannah. Listen, you can do all this. Your league's above, the fighters in the middleweight division, not just on a ranking, but all the fighters in the middleweight division. So what I need from you is to believe in yourself and go out there and show the world, and, more so than anything, yourself, what you're capable of doing. So it was just my job to give her some support there and, make sure she boxed to a natural ability and didn't let anything get in the way. That's, that was a last bit of preparations, really. But to say what she did, she went out there and she took it with both hands. And, it showed, just how much talent she has got. It was nice to see. And although it looked like on the telly, that these punches, what Anna Rankin was showing was almost, landing, or some of them's landing. They wasn't. I can tell you now, she can slip punches within a fraction. Yeah. And then punches are not landing. Savannah Marshall took no shots in that fight. You've only got to look at her straight away afterwards. She's unblemished. She not took any punishment. She not took anything. So that's because, no disrespect to Anna Rankin, that's because of the skill set of Savannah. Offsetting, moving in and out, moving back in again. Pressure was always on. It was a faultless performance. And people can say, oh, it looks a little bit, Savannah's really taking her time. What if somebody stepped up the gas? That's just natural skill. Because when you look at super talented fighters, they look like they're doing it with ease. Yeah. And it's the same as anything else. When you're good at something, you're naturally good at it. You can, when you're so good, doing less is doing more. So, and then, it proved again. So, like I said, very happy. And I think it's nearly been 4 years now, or 3.5, 4 years. And it's been a hard 3.5 years for Savannah. First of all, I'm very proud for Savannah. Obviously we've been here before. So, like I said, I love boxing and stuff. So, for me, it's it is what it is. I know that what can happen. I know fighters are capable of winning titles and stuff. But, to tell a young fighter, it's such a dream for them because it's such a hard sport. So to actually do it is another matter. But Savannah has had all of her pro career with me. Even her first fight, when she first turned professional, she trained with me for the fight in America. She had an 8 or 9 week camp with me, and then she flew over in fight week, and she had the fight. So she's trained with me for all of her career, really, from the beginning through till now. Yeah. So and that's nice. That's what I like as well. So where you can bring a young boxer, young fighters through, and and they do great things. So it's a very proud moment, and I'm very happy because nobody deserves it more than she does.
Just on a personal level, on behalf of the Northeast, I'd like to thank you for bringing the third world champion to the area. We don't get many.
So what was nice for me is, I said to Savannah, what I was looking forward to is I was looking forward to getting back to the hotel and meeting up with her mum and dad. Yeah. Because she's family orientated, and I come back and I got my stuff out of the room because I never stayed and stuff. I like to just get the fight done. I like to go home, Yeah. So, but on the way down the lift, I seen Savannah and I seen her dad with his friend, you know, and we shook hands and everything. And, you know, that means the world to me, you know, that to that recognition, you know, to be able to help somebody's, you know, that's a father's daughter, you know, to be able to do good things like that, you know, that means the world. So like I said to Savannah, you know, at the time, just when she won it, I said, some things are not about money. And, you know, it's not. Yeah. You know, to win, to be a world champion, you know, that's more than any money. Money doesn't come into it. Not for me anyway.
Next though, Pete, in the interview with Sky, she was a mixture of emotional, wasn't she? But as soon as Claressa Shields' name was mentioned, I think she probably the most aggressive we've seen Savannah for a little while. Talking about the Claressa fight.
I can tell you now, you know, this was Savannah's coming out party for what people need to see, but it's only the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a lot better Savannah than that, and that was a faultless performance. There's so much more Savannah can do. Look at it, yeah? It's all right me saying whatever. I can say anything. Until you've personally gone in there and done it, you've got to deal with the occasion. You know, you've got to get all self-doubts out your mind. Yeah? You know, although that she trusts and believes me, you know, and you know, she does believe me, and what I tell her, you know, is right. But until you've actually done it, there's always a little bit of doubt creeping in. It's nature. It's natural what happens there.
Yeah. So
she's got all that. She had to deal with a lot of pressure on Saturday. You know, so there's a lot of expectation as well. The world's looking. You know, it's very easy for a young fighter to think, "Oh my God, you know, look at the enormous thing of what I'm dealing with here." You know, the enormity. Sorry. So basically, and she's had to deal with that, and with all that in mind, to put on a performance as calm and as leveled as that. So what I'm trying to say to you, I know what she can do in the gym without the spotlight, and that's what we're going to see next time around. Because now all of them doubts are gone. All of them where I've had to put the belief in her head so she knows, because I know what she can do. But it's all right me telling her what she can do. Now she knows it. So that's the Savannah. That's what you get. And, you know, when at the end of the fight, when she stopped her, yeah, and she spoke into that camera, she said something about Shields there, you know, because that was like the release of pressure. You know, so like I said, she's a phenomenal fighter, Savannah, and you've only seen the beginning. This girl is going to unify the division in 2 weights. That's going to be super middle and middleweight. She will unify all them belts. And she will be a superstar for the Northeast. She'll be a superstar for Great Britain.
Do you think she could be the best ever, Peter? Female boxer? I know it's a big statement to ask.
Let's put it this way. I think she can be the best ever female boxer in a weight category. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of exceptional talent out there. You know, there is. But I think she'll be the best. Well, she'll be not the best ever, because every decade is different. There's different eras of fighters. You know, times was different back then. But I think Savannah can be the best of her era for sure.
And is the Claressa Shields something that you'll actively pursue now, Peter? Because Claressa's done a lot of talking, and one of the things she said was she wouldn't fight Savannah until she's got a belt. Well, now she's got one.
You know, look, a lot of fighters say a lot of things, and I watched a YouTube video, and I saw it after Savannah's fight actually, and I only come across it by accident because I was looking at a tweets and I come across it, and the video was, and when I looked at the video, she couldn't have got it more wrong. You know, everything she said was wrong. You know, it's like I don't know what she was doing. You know, she's sparring. She said she sparred Hannah Rankin. You know, she's improved. She's going to beat Savannah. It's going to be a close fight. Savannah's definitely not going to win. Savannah's definitely not going to stop her. No chance at all. All this type of stuff, you know. And, you know, but she's right about one thing. Hannah had improved. But even an improved Hannah Rankin, you know, what Savannah done with Hannah Rankin, you know, Claressa Shields had no chance of doing. She had 10 rounds with her. Don't get me wrong, Claressa Shields won that fight convincingly on points. Yeah, but there's one thing Claressa can't do, and I've not seen it in all of her fights. She can't punch. She's not a puncher.
Mm-hmm.
Her build and her stature, she's a quick, explosive type of fighter, but she's not a puncher at all. And that's borne out. We can see that. The difference is with Savannah, she can box and she can punch. Now, like I said in a previous video, people can get excited and think, oh, you know, she'll probably stop Shields because she punch hard. I don't think so. I think Shields can weather the storm because you get the people in the DNA. So a lot of light punchers have got a lot of punch resistance. You know,
yeah.
And it seems to work on this type of playing field. So I see Claressa Shields as a very good fighter. I see as though she'll be able to take a lot of punishment as well. But like I said, the difference is with Savannah, you've either got a puncher that can't box or you've got a boxer that can't punch. But Savannah holds both traits. She's naturally gifted like that. So what you've got here is, you know, you got somebody who's not only going to be in the fight, but they're going to be hurting you as well. There's one thing taking a punch and being able to last a course, but there's another thing shipping them punches, you know, and being worn down by them.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm trying to say is that Savannah is horrible to box because, you know, everybody she steps in with, even sparring sessions, they go, you know, wow, this girl can hit. You know, she's got natural power. And that, you know, and it just, well, it's all right me saying it, but, you know, Hannah Rankin, you know, I watched the shots that she was taking, Hannah Rankin, you know, and I've got to say, you know, I've got girls myself, you know, and, you know, look, I want the best for everybody. You know, Shields is Claressa Shields, probably a very nice girl. She talks up well, and that's good to talk. You know, even Hannah Rankin was talking this fight, what she was going to do, what she was going to not. But I like it. It's no problem for me. And it's certainly no problem for Savannah now because ultimately, you know, if somebody can be put down with words and talking, then you shouldn't be in there. You know, so to be honest, it's never affected me ever through all my life what anybody's had to say. And all my fighters, it doesn't affect them because I let them know exactly what's behind it. You know, the talking and the bravado, it's good for the public. It gains interest, but, you know, and sometimes it can get in fighters' heads as well. You know, sometimes, but I can tell you one thing, it doesn't get in any of my fighters' heads because it is what it is. Talking ain't fighting.
Good man. So watch the space with that one, do you think, Peter? Claressa and Savannah?
Hey, listen, they're on a collision course and it will definitely 100% happen. But it'll happen when the timing's right. It'll happen when the finances are right. It'll happen when, you know, when everybody's happy to take the fight. You've also got to look at, if we pay these off immediately, there's nobody else in the division. You know, Savannah, for Savannah, she's just won the championship of the world. You know, this was their coming out party. People can see what she is. I'd like Savannah to round up the belts because nobody out there touched Savannah. And let her round up some more belts and then go into a mega fight next year. We're not talking a long time here. We're talking about fast-tracking Savannah next year. Putting her up to the super middle. So what I'd like to see. You know, getting whatever the world champions are, rounding them belts up straight back down to middle for a unification fight. You know, then the public can see just how good Savannah Marshall is. You know, can you imagine that fight now, you know, when both of them are still active, collecting the rest of the belts, you know, the animosity building up, which there is definitely animosity between the pair. So, you know, and it makes for a lot better fight for both of them.
Yeah.
And also, they're going to get well paid out of it.
Well, I think for now, Savannah deserves nothing else than to revel in her glory after that performance.
I said to Savannah, I wanted to rest up all over Christmas, right. You know, just relax, enjoy her family and enjoy what she's achieved. But, you know, the Northeast has got a superstar in Savannah. And, you know, like I said, you know, myself, the people behind me, the team and everybody, we're all very happy and proud of Savannah anyway.
Lovely. Peter, can I just grab a couple of quick opinions on things?
Yeah.
you touched on Usyk and Chisora. Did you actually get to see the fight?
No, I watched it in the dressing room because we wasn't allowed to go ringside or anything like that because of the COVID thing. So I could see it anyway. I sat there in the changing rooms and I watched the fight. I don't know what... it's very subjective scoring. But I look at fights and I see them for what they are, you know, as an unbiased opinion. I had Usyk winning wide because he just got outboxed. But when I seen Chisora come in the ring and I was watching him walk up and down, first of all, he's never had a physique like that, ever. The best shape he's ever been in. And when he come out and he applied the pressure, he even switched up to southpaw. That was working for him as well, you know. So it's a different Chisora in there. And what I'll say is exactly what I've put out there. You know, on that night's performance, Chisora would have beaten most heavyweights. Forget the Chisora with the 9 losses. There was another man coming through the ropes. Yeah. And what you need to understand, and what everybody needs to understand about boxing, when you've got a guy who's got absolutely nothing to lose, he's trained harder than anything before. Everybody knows he's boxing a superstar. He's expected to go nowhere. You've got a guy who's got the bit between his teeth, vastly experienced, yeah, and all of a sudden he's trained like a Terminator. That recipe only adds to one thing. It's going to be a good performance, you know. And he didn't put a good performance in. He put a blistering performance in. He put so good of a performance in. Usyk had his weight cut out. He had his weight cut out because the sheer force of Derek coming onto him, winging them shots, felt the power of them against the arms and the gloves. You know, he was in a mission there. He realised per Usyk what Chisora was all about before the bell. He knew the kind of shape he was in. He knew what he was up against. Yeah. So, like I said, there was a lot of pressure that night, even for Usyk. So he came through that fight for me with flying colours, Usyk. He had a tough night at the office. You know, you've got an 18-stone man, you know, in fine condition with 0 body fat, sparred, trained to the maximum, you know, coming to inflict serious damage with little gloves on. You know, it's a tough ordeal, and Derek's a rough man anyway, at the best of times. But it was the best Chisora I've seen. A lot faster on his feet, a lot faster with the punches. So they lived up to what they said on the tin. They done exactly what they said they was going to do. But it's like I said in the interview earlier that day. I said, you know, there's one ingredient you're missing. That's natural talent, and you know that's what's seen Usyk through at the end of it. So he won. He won a points decision. And I feel it was a right decision, so he moves on.
How good do you think Usyk is, Peter, and how far do you think he can go, particularly in challenging the top 2 or 3?
I think he can go right to the top, not because Usyk's this or Usyk's that, but look, styles make fights. You know, you've seen Anthony come undone with Ruiz. You've seen a lot of fighters come undone. You've seen other fighters fight mediocre fighters and have hell and high water, but yet the world champions. So, like I said, you know, what are you going to get on the night? You just can't say. That's why boxing's so intriguing, the sport, you know, because you don't know what you're going to get. But there's one thing for sure: if he can take everything Derek got to give, I see a good fight. You know, the jury's still open. Nothing's a given. You know, I may be wrong. He may step up with a proper heavyweight, and he might not go nowhere. He might just be able to just step on him and walk right through him. But I doubt it. I don't think so. So, like I said, I think he's got a good future, and he's here to stay, Usyk, for a while.
Great stuff. You came into the bubble a little bit later in the week, didn't you, Peter?
I did. I came. Savannah got there Tuesday, and I came the day after, Wednesday.
What was that like for you? Very, very different, because we've obviously met in a hotel before, the fight hotel. where everybody's milling around. What was it like? Just you guys there?
It is what it is. You go back to your room, you sit there, you have some food. You're in fight week. It gets a bit monotonous, but everybody was in the same boat. But they have done very well for everybody there. They had like a games room. There's a gymnasium there. So it was kitted out the best they possibly could do it.
Yeah.
But still, you can't leave that floor. You can only go from that floor to your bedroom. You can't go anywhere else, so you are confined. But the good thing with that is it had a balcony outside, so you was able to get fresh air, so it wasn't too bad. And like I said, it went pretty quick, so it wasn't too bad. Don't get me wrong. If I had my choice, it's not ideal, but we're not in ideal situations, are we?
We're not. Were you not asked to take part in the darts or the bubble trouble stuff, Peter, or do they just leave you alone?
They just leave me alone. I'm not really a socialite. Especially when I've got work to do. I've got one thing on my mind, and that's making sure Savannah was all right. I'm not into chit chat, socializing, having a good time. I don't have a good time. In fight week, I've got one thing on my mind. That's getting the business done.
Two more, Peter. I'll be quick. Any news on Hughie? Is he still on the White Pavecton card, even though that fight's now off?
Well, providing the show's going ahead, he'll be on.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting on news on that. He's got his opponent. The contracts has been sent out. So they're waiting for them contracts to be returned. And, so whether he's on that show or whatever, we're just waiting for an announcement. And, so if that show's still on, he's on in 2.5 weeks. It's not for me to announce it. I can't really announce things, but the contracts has gone out. They've accepted the fight. They're waiting for it to come back. Yeah. So hopefully, they should be announcing it any day.
Is it a name we'll know, though?
Yes, he's a well-known name.
Brilliant. Has it been frustrating for Hughie, Peter? Because the last time we spoke, just before his last fight, you were saying that you were working on new things, which we saw. Has this lockdown been frustrating for Hughie, or has it allowed him to, basically train with the new changes that you've made?
Yeah, he's been training. He's been training hard as he's been working on his stuff, and he's always kept in the loop. He's ready. He's been ticking over, because I've always said, look, you might get fights on quick notice. You need to be ready. So the only thing is, now we know who it is. We've got last minute sparring. So we're getting all the sparring coming in. The sparring's coming in tomorrow. We've got sparring coming in Saturday. So like I said, he's gonna have a hard 2 weeks of sparring, Hughie. He'll probably Hughie probably get 8 spars in. So he'll spar he'll miss a day, spar a day, right up to fight week.
And what's the plans, Peter, for the next year or so? Because obviously lockdown, I would guess, means you've got to change absolutely all the best laid plans. What's the progression for Hughie? Does it have to speed up now because of this?
Oh, not really. Hughie's ready to fight anybody. So we're going to get Hughie through this fight, all being well. And we'll look to see where we go next year. So the idea is, we've got Savannah out the way now. She can relax over the Christmas. She's got her world title. For me, it's working with Hughie to make sure everything goes all right with him. And then that's it. I'm going to take the rest of the time off anyway, December as well. And we'll look at everything in January.
Lovely. Well said, Peter. Peter, I'll not keep you any longer. I really, really appreciate your time. It's coming up 10:25 at night, mate, so I'll let you go.
No problem.
It's always a pleasure
speaking to you, Steve, as always.